and lsquo. We live in an age of terror. Security services warn attacks could still escalate. Britain has suffered 5 major terror incidents this year alone, with Manchester and London the target of attacks that have left dozens dead, including children at a pop concert. Senior government sources said that in the past 6 months there had been 11 plots on UK soil. That number has risen significantly in recent years, up from 4 or 5 years ago, and just 1 in 2007. Prime Minister Theresa May has also twice raised the terror threat level from severe to critical, the highest possible, signaling that an attack was expected imminently and bringing troops out to patrol the streets, while stepping up security at major public events and potential targets including railway stations and airports. The order was the first time in a decade that the UK was put on the highest possible alert. Sources said that the scale of the threat had escalated in recent years and could still be escalating. They added, what the agencies think is that this is the new normal. There are fears that the number and frequency of attacks are rising as the Islamic State terrorist group gets pushed back in the Middle East. Hundreds of fighters from Europe have gone abroad to fight for IS in recent years. Ministers fear that they will plot terror attacks in their own countries when they return home. In addition, 400 hours of footage is being uploaded every minute to video websites, making the job of combating terrorist ideology more difficult. Since the start of the year, the UK has suffered attacks in Manchester and Westminster, London Bridge, Finsbury Park and Parsons Green Tube Station, all in London. The Home Office has announced an extra £24 million of funding for counter-terror policing in the wake of the attempted bombing on a tube train in Parsons Green. But the head of the UK's largest police force has warned that terrorism is putting an unsustainable strain on police. Metropolitan Police Commissioner Cressida Dick said the attacks that have hit London in recent months had an impact on the entire force. Home Secretary Amber Rudd last week announced tougher sentences that will mean extremists who repeatedly watch terrorist propaganda face up to 15 years in jail. The penalty will also apply to those who try to fuel attacks by publishing information about members of the armed forces, police, and intelligence services. Ms. Rudd also attacked tech giants who said there was no business case for tackling web terror. A council has installed high-tech anti-theft devices to its bin lorries to stop them from being used in terror attacks. Middlesbrough Council is issuing drivers with wrist tags needed to release the handbrake and start the ignition. It is hoped the measure will prevent the 26-ton vehicles being driven into crowds of people after attacks in Nice, London and Barcelona, which between them killed more than 100 people. Waste Operations Manager Peter Salt said, "There are so many instances where a vehicle could be out of our control. If someone jumps in with the engine running and tries to steal it, that's a 26-ton truck. It could cause a lot of damage in the wrong hands."